Rafizi Ramli's 12-year-old son is in the hospital after being attacked this afternoon. According to the Sepang District Police Chief, the incident occurred at around 1:30 p.m. Meanwhile, Najib Razak's lawyer has pushed for his house arrest as the Attorney General's chambers has confirmed the addendum's existence. The AGC has ordered an inquest into Zara Qairina's death, seeking answers to whether foul play was involved. Stay with us for all the details. Pandan MP Rafizi Ramli's 12-year-old son was attacked at a shopping mall car park in Putrajaya at around 1:45 p.m. today, while his family was getting into the car to leave. Rafizi said two men dressed in black and wearing helmets had dragged his son and stabbed him with a syringe. He added that his son was immediately taken to UPM hospital for a checkup and is under observation. He said upon checking, it was revealed that the two men had tailed his wife's car, and he believes that the attack had been planned in advance. He added that the police were at the scene right after the incident and they had given their statement to them. Rafizi stated that this is the first time his family has been targeted in such an attack since he became a politician, and he believes that it is a warning to stop speaking up on certain issues. He added that he will not bow to any threats and will continue carrying out his duties as usual. Earlier in the Dewan Rakyat, Speaker Johari Abdul said he will request a briefing from Home Minister Saifuddin Nasution Ismail on the matter. This was in response to Subang MP Wong Chen, who asked for the relevant minister to provide details in the Dewan Rakyat tomorrow morning.
Baik, apa yang boleh saya buat ialah saya akan berhubung dengan Menteri Dalam Negeri untuk meminta penjelasan apa yang berlaku dan kalau perlu ini melibatkan keselamatan kita semua. Saya pun tak tahu apa yang berlaku sebenarnya. Jadi saya akan minta Menteri Dalam Negeri memberikan penjelasan kepada saya dan insya-Allah kalau sekiranya perlu sesi penjelasan kita akan minta Menteri datang untuk memberikan penjelasan. Sesuatu yang very unprecedented.
Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak will have his house arrest bid heard in the High Court before a new judge. This came after the federal court dismissed the Attorney General's appeal this morning. The decision was delivered by a panel of 3 judges led by Chief Judge of Malaya, Hasna Hashim. Justice Zabara Yusof, while reading the judgment, said that despite the AG submission saying that the addendum order does exist, they found that its existence does not automatically render the document valid. They said the addendum validity has to be determined at the substantive hearing if leave is granted. They added that they do not consider it right or fair for them to express any view on that point at this stage. Najib's application, where he sought the court's mandamus order to compel the government and 6 others to confirm the royal addendum's existence to allow him to serve the remainder of his prison sentence on house arrest, is still at the leave stage. On July 3rd last year, the High Court dismissed Najib's application for leave to commence judicial review proceedings. The Court of Appeal overturned the decision and returned Najib's case to the High Court to be heard on its merits on January 6, which then led to AG's appeal. Najib is serving his jail sentence at Kajang Prison after failing his August 2022 appeal at the federal court over the 42 million ringgit SRC International case. He was sentenced to a 12-year jail term and a 120 million ringgit fine until the Pardons Board reduced his sentence to 6 years and lowered his fine to 15 million ringgit on February 2nd last year. In a press conference later, Najib's lawyer Shafi Abdullah said that the addendum order, which would purportedly allow Najib to serve the remainder of his prison sentence at home, ought to be executed. He said this is as the Attorney General's chambers had confirmed its existence.
Sepatutnya, the addendum ought to be executed because we have something like 9 cases in the federal court that says as long as there is the decree of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, whether it is perfected or whether it is a perfect document or the decision towards it is perfect or not, is not relevant. The minute the Yang di-Pertuan Agong sign the decree, you cannot question his decision. 9 cases, all in the federal court or in the Supreme Court, which are the same. Okay? So, to answer your question, yes, it ought to be executed, but the Attorney General wants to test the water, to argue perhaps, I'm not sure yet what they are going to do. Maybe to test the water, whether the addendum is valid and how is it valid and so on and so on. But it will be a very complicated process because you have to disclose who says what perhaps in the pardon board, what advice they give and what the Yang Di-Pertuan Agong heard and decided. Very complicated. And this is why we think it can never be challenged for a good reason. Otherwise, all this into the law. And you will know the secret of what each one of the pardon board members speak about. And that's something which should never come out. Because otherwise you will never have the next pardon board. Nobody wants to be a member.
From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us. The Attorney General's Chambers has ordered for an inquest into the death of 13-year-old Zara Qairina Mahathir. This is to determine if there were criminal elements in the July 16th incident. In a statement, the AGC said the decision was made after it reviewed the police investigation report submitted yesterday. It said the inquest proceeding is aimed at determining the cause of her death and what had caused it, including identifying whether there was any criminal element in Zara's death. It added that the coroner's court will handle the process transparently and in an independent manner according to the law. Zara was found unconscious in a drain below her school dormitory in Papa on July 16th. She died the next day at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital 1 in Kota Kinabalu. Her family believes bullying may have played a role. Her death has sparked conspiracy theories, including claims of a cover-up. These were worsened by local police not conducting an autopsy initially, which led to her remains being exhumed for a post-mortem. Bukit Aman has since taken over the case, sending 9 CID officers to Sabah to ensure a thorough and transparent probe. Meanwhile, the Education Ministry said it has temporarily transferred out the principal, senior assistant of student affairs, and wardens from SMKA Tun Datu Mustafa in Sabah. This is the school that Zara had attended. In a statement, it said that they will be reassigned to the Sabah State Education Department until police investigations into the teen's death have concluded. The ministry said the decision was taken following the announcement that a special task force from Bukit Aman is taking over investigations. If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe. Lawyers for Liberty has come to the defense of Terengganu UMNO youth over a mistake in its Jalur Gemilang graphic. In a statement today, LFL Director Zaid Malik stated that Terengganu UMNO youth had not committed any legal offence. He said that UMNO Youth Chief Akmal Saleh's latest call for action over a flag mistake displays his gross ignorance of the law. Zaid explained that it is basic in law that a person can only be found guilty for an offence if they have the intention to commit the offence. He said clearly, just like the store owner in Penang, UMNO Youth did not intentionally make the mistake, and there was no intention to insult the flag. He said this is obvious to all reasonable Malaysians, and the fuss Akmal created has no basis in law or common sense. He added that mistakes happen and every mistake is not a police case. Zaid also believes that Akmal had been forced to condemn his own side, as he has been publicly attacking others for such mistakes over the past few weeks. With this, Zaid said that LFL rejects Akmal's ignorant call for action against Terengganu UMNO youth, as well as his call for action against the Penang store owner. He added that they were prepared to provide pro bono legal representation to anyone from Terengganu UMNO youth who may be investigated or prosecuted over the Jalur Gemilang error. Terengganu UMNO youth had posted the erroneous graphic on Monday, ironically in an attempt to condemn the flag blunder in Penang. This led to Akmal calling for police to investigate and take stern action. Yesterday, DAP had said that it will be mobilizing its members in Penang to defend a hardware store that made a flag blunder from troublemakers. Party Secretary General Anthony Loke had said DAP members will be armed with Malaysian flags, which they will hand out as a sign of unity. Following this, we carried out a poll to see what the public thought of the move. Here are the results. 34% of around 2,400 people that voted said that it is a good move and a positive approach may help diffuse the situation. Meanwhile, 53% disagreed, saying that it is ineffective and would only make the situation worse. 10% were unsure. They said it would depend on how people react. Several voters that commented believe the action should be taken, with one calling out political parties for getting involved in the matter. Another voter said that the uproar over the issue was just a cheap publicity stunt by UMNO youth. What are your thoughts on the matter? Share your views in the comment section below. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.